So let's see how to build an Angular app before we deploy this application to Cloud Foundry. But before we build, we have to add a file called static file. So let's see how we can do that. So the reason we add the static file to the root path of Angular app is because we want to deploy it to Cloud Foundry, right? So this is totally purely Cloud Foundry specific. So let's go ahead and test it. Static file build pack. If you search with static file build pack, you'll get a lot of documentation to go through, but I'm going to give you very basic information here. So once you go to this site like docs.cloudfoundry.org, just go ahead and click on static file detection. And this says if you create a file name static file and locate it in the build directory of your app, Cloud Foundry automatically use this build pack when you push your app, right? So we have to create the static file static file, a file with name static file, and put a configuration called push state enabled, like this one. These are all the properties available for a static file, but we want to make sure that push state enabled is at least available in the static file. So let's go ahead and add it to the root directory now. So let's go to root folder, right click on the blank space and try to create a new file here. That is static file, and that name should be appropriate, that is case sensitive. So once you go here, we can put push state enabled and nothing else. That's it, that should work. So let's compare it with what we have currently in the documentation just in case. So it says push state enabled, and it also gives some description on how we can use this and all. So basically all we are focusing is just put this push state enabled property within this static file. That's it. So once you have the static file, you're good to go. Now we can just open terminal and try to build. For a regular build, what you'll do is you'll just put ng build. This is a regular build which picks up a regular environment, right? Where we have environment.ts. It picks up configuration from this file if you do ng build. But if you want to build for QLab, what I mean is test. If you want to build for test, you should do configuration followed by test. You have to give that environment name here. Once you do this, go ahead and hit enter. That will try to build and create a dist folder for you. So now the build is done. You can see the dist folder created for you with all these files actually. But there is a problem here. It creates a dist folder under a folder called multi-environment tab, right? All these files are under multi-environment tab. We can change this in angular.json file. Let's go to angular.json and go to path, dist path, and you have to change this output path. And I don't want to create any folder under dist, so I'll just give only dist. Now I can just try to build it again. ng build configuration followed by test. If you hit enter, it will just create all these dist files under dist folder without any multi-environment folder here. I think there is some typo here. Let's go ahead and do ng build again. Now you can see it is trying to build it again. And you can see that there is no dist folder now. Once the build is done, you can find the dist folder there. You can see the dist folder has been created now. It is still trying to complete the build. Okay, looks like the build is done. You can just expand build and see all the files within the dist folder itself. Okay, once we have static file here, we can just go ahead and copy that static file and paste it in the dist folder directly. We don't want to put the static file under any nested folder in dist. It should be directly under dist folder. Now let's see how we can deploy this dist folder to Pivotal Cloud Foundry.